Hi, my name is Ariana Vera. I am going to talk about long-term effects of the gene therapy of Leber's congenital amaurosis. Definitions. Leber's congenital amaurosis is a heterogeneous clinical genetic disorder characterized by several vision loss appeared. Leber's congenital amaurosis belongs to the group of retinal dystrophies, a very rare genetic origin characterized by the generations and progressive loss of retinal photoreceptors, roots and cones from the first month of life.
In people with Leber congenital amaurosis, the RPE65 protein, critical for visual function, is not made due to mutations in the corresponding RPE65 gene. Fixing the problem requires isolating the segment of DNA corresponding to the normal RPE65 gene and packaging it into a vector made from a virus. The gene-containing vector is injected into the eyeball under the retina between the retinal pigment epithelium and choroid, where it enters the cells of the retina. The vector releases the normal RPE65 gene segment. The normal RPE65 protein is now manufactured by the cell. The RPE65 protein is released from the cell to vision receptors, restoring normal visual function.
Applications in medicine. Gene therapy is the procedure of the transferring genetic material to specific organs to produce therapeutic effects to correct genetic defects. High disease, mainly macular ones, have a high genetic component. This has led to several studies suggesting alternative treatments, such as gene therapy for its medicament. Studies have concluded that gene therapy is a promising novel therapeutic strategy that could provide a more effective way to treat their disease.
Inherited retinal disorders affect vision and can cause blindness. Many are degenerative, meaning they keep getting worse over time. They affect individuals of all ages, each type progressing at a different rate. Common types of inherited retinal disorders include Leber congenital amaurosis, Leber hereditary optic neuropathy, X-linked retinitis pigmentosa, and choroideremia. All of these result in severe vision loss and are caused by a gene that is not working properly. Our genes are the building blocks to our physical makeup. Gene therapy is an approach used to slow or stop the disease by correcting or compensating for the faulty gene. To explain, let's first start at the retina. It's a tissue in your eye that processes light, sending signals through your brain to form an image. A variety of proteins keep the retina functioning properly. Genes produce these proteins, so when a gene is faulty, there is a problem with the proteins being created, resulting in a retinal disorder. There are many gene therapies in clinical trials for retinal disorders, and one, called Luxturna, has been approved. This creates cause for optimism, since this same method is being used to target other gene mutations. Luxturna is the first approved gene therapy for an inherited genetic disorder in the US, specifically treating a mutation in the RPE65 gene. Luxturna delivers a functional copy of the RPE65 gene into the eye, which then enters the cells that need it to produce the protein correctly. To insert a copy of a gene into a cell, you need a delivery strategy. And one way to deliver the functioning gene is by using a viral vector. But don't worry, this type of virus is typically not known to cause disease. The vectors are then injected directly underneath the retina. Due to the retina's unique physical makeup, gene therapy treatments administered directly to the eye are an ideal option. To explain why, here's Dr. Jean Bennett.
The retina is a wonderful target for gene therapy because it is so accessible. We can visualize it easily, we can deliver the reagent to it easily, and we can assess the effects of the treatment non-invasively.
Scientists aim to develop gene therapies that only require one injection that can treat the eye for an entire lifetime. Since there are hundreds of gene mutations that could be the cause of an individual's progressive vision loss, it is highly important to complete genetic testing to know the specific mutation that is causing the disorder. Researchers continue to work optimistically to develop safe and effective gene therapies that can help individuals with inherited retinal disorders. For more information and resources about gene therapy for inherited retinal disorders, visit asgct.org.
Pros and cons. Pros. A long-term study found the efficacy of gene therapy for Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. No serious adverse effects were noted in the night participant over a 3 year period. Evidence of tissue compressions, inflammations, and edema often associated with protein infusion devices. Cons. Systemic adverse events were included doesn't know to be associated with oral glucocorticoids, targeting the neuron cells, infections caused by the virus, possibility of causing a tumor. UC applied in Ecuador. The trials are in the pre-approval phase and have already been tested in 15 patients, proven to be safe and effective. In this disease, there is only one altered gene, so the design of the therapy is clear. It will be more difficult in the case of the other multifactorial pathologies, where there is no specific gene. Conclusions. The data have shown that the treated eyes are 3 times more likely to be achieved at better visions than 12,200. With this analysis, the presence of the viral vector in the untreated eyes was detected in this sense, the visual improvement of the 2 eyes, while owing to intraocular diffusions of A8B2, 2, and D4. The questionnaire confirmed the positive impact of the treatment on the quality of life and physiological well-being of the patients.
Let me see that.
Caroline and Cole Carper have been through more than your typical siblings.
I can't imagine it being any different than the two of them being together and going through this together. You know, they've had canes together, they've had to learn Braille together, they've gone to school for the blind and visually impaired together.
Early in their lives, they were both diagnosed with a rare genetic retinal disease called LCA, or Leber Congenital Amaurosis.
The doctor really said, there's no medical treatments at this time.
Both Caroline and Cole were expected eventually to go blind, but their parents found an experimental treatment, and 2 years ago, the kids enrolled together in a clinical trial. It was with Spark Therapeutics, a young biotech company formed out of research from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
The idea is that we are taking a correct functional copy of a gene and adding it back into the cells that have dysfunctional or missing copy of that gene or blueprint.
It's called gene therapy, and it's relatively uncharted territory in medicine. The technology uses a modified virus to deliver a healthy copy of a gene to make up for one that causes disease. Scientists have been working on it for decades, but only now are the first gene therapies approaching the market. Sparks is among the most advanced. The healthy genes are delivered through eye surgery. Once they're in place, they're designed to do the work of a normally functioning gene, meaning patients only undergo treatment once.
What we're doing is different. We're actually adding the blueprint in, and the cell then knows how to do the last step, which is to make the protein or the enzyme that might be missing, and therefore that is what creates the potential for it to be a long-lasting effect.
In trials of 41 patients, the therapy is shown to improve both vision and light sensitivity with no major side effects. Caroline and Cole were no exception. Before their surgeries, both kids had trouble seeing in low light. Now, though their vision's not perfect, they say they're noticing big differences.
Good things are to come. I went outside when it was snowing, and I was like, oh, I can see the snowflakes. It was really cool, like, to actually see something that I'd never seen in my life before.
Spark is one of several companies developing gene therapies, targeting everything from hemophilia to sickle cell disease to other rare disorders. If they're successful, it will be a new paradigm for medicine, fighting genetic disease in just one treatment.
I thought it was really cool how simple it was and how much it changed my life.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.